Okay, so we are on the air now. I'm
Exciting.
here with Tom on the phone. Hey Tom, welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Ivan. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is amazing. Where exactly are you calling from?
Right now, exactly, I'm calling
Yeah.
from Leuven, which is right next to Brussels in Belgium.
Oh, you're in Belgium. I thought you were in
Yep.
Sweden at first.
Oh, yeah, that's because of the stripe in the O.
Could be, yeah. So you
Yeah.
are from Belgium. Born and
Yes.
raised in Belgium?
Yep. Yep. Born and raised here.
That's
Um,
amazing, yeah. I lived in Germany, so I went a couple of times over there.
oh, really? Where did you live in Germany?
Nice little country. Bielefeld was near Cologne, like 2 hours from Cologne.
Oh, yeah, that's right
So
next to Belgium.
west side, yes. Well, next to Holland.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's closer to Holland, but I mean,
Yeah,
Cologne is like 2 hours away from here.
yeah, exactly. And now I'm back home. I'm originally from Ecuador in South America, so we're
Cool.
pretty far away. No, now
Yeah.
connected through this podcast. It's amazing.
Exactly. We did have some time difference challenges already, huh? But that's
Yeah, yeah. We were trying to figure this out last week, no?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There were only 6 hours difference, and then it turned out there were 7 hours, and but yeah, we finally make it. Yeah,
Exactly.
and we're gonna talk about your music. It's amazing how the internet has changed everything. I was just checking my Instagram, and then I saw one of your videos on the Instagram ads, and I just thought this sounds cool because I'm a big James Blake fan. You know, I love James
Uh-huh.
Blake, and I kind of thought your music, yeah, sound was great. And I said, I'm gonna write Tom and ask him if he wants to join my podcast, and then he said yes, and here we are.
Yeah.
So Tom, how long have you been making music now? Because your
Uh,
project seems to be a pretty new adventure, right?
yep, exactly. Well, I have been making music since like forever, since I can remember. I
Yeah,
think it was we had a piano at home, and I was banging on it from when I could walk, pretty much.
yeah,
But then I really took up an interest in producing around 12, I think, 12, 13.
hmm,
But I got super frustrated because I couldn't figure it out, whatever. And so it kind of like took I mean, the interest was there, but then slowly it came back. And at some point, there's this threshold of skill that I surpassed after watching like a billion YouTube videos on how to produce,
yeah,
that it really started to become this kind of like emotional escape or coping
yeah,
mechanism, to be able to deal with life in a way, to say it in the least heavy way possible.
yeah.
So I would say since 12 is when I really started to learn about producing and yeah, just making sounds work together in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So you just started watching some video tutorials and start making beats on your computer. To tell us a little bit about your gear, the hardware and software. What kind of musical instruments do you actually use to create your sounds?
Yeah, so I did go. I had a bit of a classical start in music because my mom sent me to like classical music school, which I hated. Like I came away crying from there
Yeah,
more often than not, because they're so harsh. They're so harsh, and also I played the
yeah,
piano, and so I would get these play like, these things that I had to play, and
mhm,
th- they're just ruthless, first of all, in how you're supposed to play those things. And what I did is I would look at that paper for like 10 minutes trying to figure out what the notes were and all that. And then once I got it, I started just jamming with it and just improvising with it. So I played a lot,
yeah,
but never what they asked me to play. And so every time I
mhm,
arrived there, they were like, you didn't do anything, which wasn't true. um, but yeah, so mostly piano, and
yeah,
then like the producing was fun because you can really make things sound nice without having like a sick piano skill,
yeah,
which allowed me to dive and explore music in different ways pretty quick. I kept on playing. So I would say right now I'm an average piano player. Um,
Mhm.
and so I mainly I started out on Ableton,
Mhm.
but then switched to Logic, and now I use Ableton mostly for live things. But I prefer Logic to really let things flow. Like I feel like if you're composing, like things just go quicker and more natural in Logic. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Then I owned but sold a Prophet 6
Oh,
synth.
that's sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
It
nice
was
hint. Yeah.
I really liked it, but I sold it because I felt that sometimes it was just not warm enough for my taste.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
But I should have just bought a reverb and just you know make it make it a little warmer, but whatever. Right now,
Mhm.
I just bought a Peak, and I love the Peak. Like I love it to death. It's
Mhm. Wow.
man, like I yeah, really really love my Peak.
Yeah, I
And
can
then I
imagine.
had an OP1 and OPZ, but both sold them because yeah, there was just for me there was too much menu diving to make something nice come out of it. Like it needs to like I'm cool designing a sound for like 20 minutes, but once it's designed, I need to
Mhm.
be able to play with it fast. Uh,
Oh.
yeah. So yeah, that's a bit about my gear.
Any drum machines on
Uh,
board?
well, I use Spark a whole lot, which is a
Mhm.
plugin by Arturia. I love Arturia. I
Yeah.
also have their
Arteria is awesome.
yeah, you know them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
And then I also have the V collection, which I love as well, also by Arturia. And then for drums, I also use Addictive Drums too, which is
Mhm.
really really solid. So yeah, that's how I do my drums mostly.
Mhm. That's
Yeah.
great. That's amazing. Let's talk a little bit about your own project, Cope. You talk a lot about loneliness and daydreaming and all those kinds of things. Where did you get your inspiration from to start this project? How did all this start?
That's actually funny because I really started bringing out music well 6 or 7 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, so I traveled for 2 years. So I traveled the world for 2 years, and
Yeah,
my
really
brother, we
awesome.
always had this kind of like musical connection. And so
Yeah.
when I was traveling, I was making beats as well and sending them to my brother, and he was like singing on them and then sending them back. And so the first
Hmm.
song we released was together with him, which was with a
Uh-huh.
project called Abre,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool because with our first song that we put out, we got like played on the radio and everything. It was like an instant hit.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but and then I also had like another project with a friend of mine called Lise Lore, which was Lilo, is a
Hmm.
project that went
Oh
on
yeah,
for
I saw that. Yeah, I saw
you
that
saw
on,
it.
on Instagram. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Lilo.
And so that was the second kind of like semi-successful project, but that was always with like somebody else in front. Like I was always doing the
Yeah,
production and being
yeah.
behind. But in the meantime, I was making my weird stuff, which I call
Yeah.
my cope music, which is basically the music I make. Like all the cope songs until up until this point are made in an hour or less in a highly
Uh-huh.
emotional state, because
Awesome. Yeah.
I I never really intended on releasing these songs at all. Actually,
Mhm.
like I was just
Mhm.
making them for myself to be able to
Yeah.
cope literally with life,
Yeah.
and or I would send them to people that I needed to hear my message from,
Mhm.
like yeah, like somebody that you're in love with, and you're just trying to send them a message of like, hey, this is how I feel, because music could just there's so much more nuance that you can bring into what you're trying to say. And
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
again, like for me, that cope was very like in the very first place just my thing for me, and for the people that I wanted to directly direct it at. And so the moment I decided to start releasing it was actually My Last Breath Is Yours is one of the songs that I recently released. And
Mhm.
I made that song after going to how do you call it, like a theater play of a friend of mine, and that theater, like that play really hit me so hard. Like it was like I was like, yeah, crazy emotional after it. And so
Yeah.
I sat down in my car, started writing the lyrics, drove home, made it in like an hour. The song was made, and I sent it directly to her. I'm like, look, this is what you did to me. And she was like, whoa, this is amazing. And she's also like a pretty good, actually, a very good director. And she was like, I
Yeah.
want to make a video clip for this. And I was like,
Hmm.
well, cool. And so she started just filming. And then, like 2 weeks later, she called me. She's like, hey, Tom, I actually have enough material for two video clips. Do you have another song laying around? And
Hmm.
then I sent her a bunch of songs, which I had laying around that I just made for myself. And that's kind of how I started releasing those songs, because, it was too bad having those video clips and then not, releasing them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what pulled me over the, yeah, over the edge to start releasing and to start my own project, Cope.
Yeah. That's an amazing story. So it's a very personal project, sort of a emotional journey into all your experience. You mentioned you traveled for a whole year. Did you travel alone, only by yourself?
Yeah, so I traveled for 2 years actually, and
Two
well,
years.
yeah, not that it really matters, but
All by your own.
no, it was part of it was all by myself,
Hmm.
but another part was with an NGO called Up with People. Maybe you know them as Viva la Gente.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I have. Yeah. So you were in Latin America too.
well, I was in Mexico for a little bit, which is, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like central more. But I did go to Nicaragua and Costa Rica, which is still central. Sorry.
Hmm. That's
Yeah,
central. Yeah.
you're more down in Ecuador.
Yeah.
Um,
We're south here.
yeah. So no, yeah, that so part of that was with that NGO, which was also great because I got to play a lot of music there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was like a
Hmm.
traveling kind of volunteering group where we would play.
Volunteer program.
Yeah, exactly. But it was also with music, which was awesome because it really created
That's
this
great.
like world tour experience. And then I spent about 6 months in Australia all by myself, which
Hmm.
was both the best and the hardest thing I've ever done.
Hmm.
Um, but it was for sure an experience. I arrived there with like 250 euros, which is nothing, which is illegal. Also, I think I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm not going to get in trouble for admitting this, but literally, like I arrived there and I was like, shoot, man, like stuff is so expensive here. And I thought I would have like 2 weeks to find a job there because I was on a
Yeah.
working visa. Um, but no, I had 1 week to find a job, and that was, yeah, that's a whole other bunch of stories that also generated a lot of like emotions that I could make music of, and I made a lot of music, and I really started to dive deep into my production skills on the road. Actually,
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was actually what I wanted to ask, if all those experiences from your travel adventures had an impact in your music later, no?
for sure. Again, I think Australia was one of the hardest times because I arrived with so much self confidence that completely got shattered uh,
Mhm.
as soon as I arrived. Like after a week, um, it's a bit of a crazy story, but it ends with me sleeping under a car, completely being abandoned by all my friends that I thought were my friends, but I didn't really know at that point. Um,
Really?
yeah, so I'll quickly tell the story.
Yeah, yeah.
In a
Please.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty funny story, but so we yeah, I arrived in Australia, and then I met some awesome Swedish guys that were super fun. They had a car, and so we
Mhm,
decided that we would just drive down to um, like everybody was trying to get a job in Melbourne. Everybody was trying to get a farm job, all the backpackers at least, and they were all sending out emails and all that. And so
mhm,
I said to the Swedish guys like, hey, if you're a farmer, and you have to choose between this guy that sends you an email or the guy that's standing right in front of you. Who do you choose? Uh,
Mhm.
and so I convinced them to take their car and to drive down to uh, a little place in the middle of nowhere called Hillston. Literally, the nearest town is a 2 hour drive from there. But there's a bunch of
Oh,
farms there, and so we drove down there to see if there was work.
yeah.
And there was work, and so we found work pretty quickly there. But after 2 weeks, like it started raining like crazy. And when it rains, you can't work on the farms. And so we were just going crazy there because there was a little town where there was nothing to do. Like it was just, it's, yeah, it was horrible.
Mhm.
A little bit like lockdown, like now.
Yeah.
Um, and we decided that we just wanted to, it was going to rain for another 4 days. So we decided that we'd just go down um, to Melbourne and, party over the weekend and just come back. And
Mhm.
I think so. What we also, little side note, in one of our walks around Hillston, we found a bottle of Captain Morgan in the bushes. Uh, the rum. Little side fact that's going to be important. Yeah, and so we take that bottle all the way back to Melbourne, and we're invited at this party of all these Swedish girls that they knew. And the problem with me
Mhm.
is when I start drinking rum, I become super philosophical. Like I just want to talk
Okay.
about the meaning of life and all that. And those Swedish girls, they were not into it. They were like, "Dude, you're annoying." And
Yeah.
I would get a little aggressive, like, "What's the purpose of your life? Like, what do you want to achieve?" And they were like,
You
"Dude,
were
I'm just
really
here to have a
getting into
good,
the
yeah."
meaning of life.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they were like, "Dude, I'm just here to have a good time. Fuck off, literally." And so it ended up
Yeah.
with I lost the two Swedish guys, my two Swedish friends, but everybody
Mhm.
else just ditched me because they didn't know me. And they were like, "This guy's just annoying." And so
Yeah.
I was a little too drunk to figure out where the heck I was. But that was in a habit back then to just record every conversation or most of the conversations that I had. And I had a lot of conversations that I recorded when I was drunk. And so
Mhm.
I started using those recordings in
Uh-huh.
my music, which is pretty
Uh-huh.
hilarious, but also makes it a little bit raw. But
Yeah.
anyway, like it ended up again with me just sleeping under a car because I couldn't find anybody and all those other people had ditched me. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Luckily, I found my two other friends pretty quickly. But that had a big impact on my
Yeah,
self
yeah.
esteem throughout the whole thing because I was like, I get rejected for who I feel I fundamentally am because I fundamentally am somebody who probably overthinks and is a deep thinker and likes to ask tough questions in a way.
Mhm.
And so that's something that I think I still carry with me today. Of
Yeah. I
you
think it's
know,
part of being a musician, right? Because I am a musician too, and I can relate to what you just said. Because I've also made some similar experience where I felt like the outcaster. Not
yeah,
I mean I'm a social person. I like have friends. I like to go out. I have a family and I have a daughter, but sometimes I feel like I'm very by myself and I enjoy actually being alone most of the time, like producing my little podcast is one of the greatest things because I spend lots of hours just alone by myself with my ideas and my thoughts, just my little crazy things. So maybe is that also what you mean, or maybe what you feel sometimes?
yeah. I think for sure, like the feeling
I think it's
of
part of our nature in a way, right?
yeah. I think there has to be a
Yeah,
component of non-understoodness, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
because I feel like also when I make my music, it's like feel what I feel, please. Like if you listen
yeah,
to music, like you can again, it's so much more nuanced. Like you can say exactly what you're feeling, and that would maybe take you like 100,000 words to explain. You can say with one sentence and the right melody in music, like or the
absolutely.
or just using the right sounds to yeah accentuate certain lyrics or certain. So I think for sure the music has to emerge from this place of like something that needs to be expressed that couldn't be expressed otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And hopefully is understood as well in a sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
by other people. But that's
Yeah. I
something that
mean,
I only started to really think about, because there's a difference between just making the music for yourself to understand yourself, and then
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
making music where you are, now I'm getting messages from people who like say like, hey, this song really means a lot to me, and I'm like, yeah, it
Yeah.
means a lot to me too, but now it's something that I'm sharing.
Yeah. You put it out there. No, it's out there,
Exactly, and
and
that is also like, you feel understood, but from a different angle, if that makes sense.
yeah. 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 That's just so amazing. And I think your songs. How many singles do you have? I think you have a total of 4 or 5 singles.
Yeah, no. So right now I have three, but
Three, right?
there's,
The
yeah,
last one is California, right?
exactly. Yep, yep, yep.
The last single is California.
See, yeah, California again is also like a song that just really emerged from just one lonely night, like a lonely night, and I made
Yeah.
that song in like an
Yeah.
hour, and
Yeah.
it's a weird ass song, but it was literally capturing how I felt. Uh,
Absolutely. I think. I mean, you can hear that now. If people go now and hear, they will totally understand what you're saying and about the song. It's really cool.
yeah,
I think my favorite one is You Deserve the Moon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why is
Yeah,
that?
I really like
What do you like about
I
it?
really like that tune. I really like that tune. Um I don't know, it's just the whole atmosphere, the
Yeah. What kind of music do you make?
I play bass guitar, but I'm kind of in a very long hiatus. I haven't played for many, many years now. I sold all my stuff. I also have sort of a strange relationship with music. No, I love music. I love music. I grew up listening to music. It's a big part of my life, and I actually want to start making music now. Like I feel this is getting cool. I'm getting this feeling again. I don't know
Mhm.
what happened. In Germany, I had like this really cool band, and I put all my heart in it. I was doing. I wanted to make a living out of it. Like I don't.
Mhm.
I didn't want to have this a real job, a boring real job. I wasn't into it. I wanted to make music. So when after a while, the band broke up, and it was like a difficult kind of thing for me. Like it meant so much to me, and then all of a sudden, oh no, it's not going to work anymore.
Mhm.
So maybe that's the point where I said, oh, okay, I want to quit for a while, and but I hope I will start making music again. I really want to do that. Uh, Sometime in the near future. Yeah. So I'm a bass player. Basically, I'm a bass player. I also enjoy playing with my computer. Sometimes make some beats on GarageBand and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
basically, I'm a bass player. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
feel
So
I feel that is a thing though with music. Like there's seasons where you're just very into
yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
moments where you
Yeah.
just, eh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I always thought also like I don't want to end up like being a music teacher or something like that. I mean, nothing against that, no? But it was like sort of a nightmare for me.
Oh
So I
yeah,
thought I prefer to do other stuff if I don't get it, like with
no, yeah,
music.
that's something I've contemplated as well. Just, at one point, I had this friend of mine that decided to go fully to music school and like just study music and do that.
Yeah,
And I wanted to go do that
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
But my mom said, like, because I was still young, and like I think I was like 14 or 15. And my mom said,
uh-huh.
like, no way, like, it's not, I was so angry at her back then. But now I'm actually kind of glad, because I feel like my music is a product of my life, like of the things I experienced, and the things I live, and the things I
Yeah,
do. And so if I would make music my life, it would make like a faulty feedback loop, like I think I would get bored of music. Like
yeah.
it needs, there needs to be flavor to process, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
What do you do other than making music? Do you have a normal job, or are you living from music right now?
No,
It's
no,
your
no.
main occupation.
So my main, or like most of my time goes to my startup, which is
Mhm.
called Humane, and
Oh,
with it we help companies adopt artificial intelligence.
oh,
So
you're into that, really?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's
Um,
amazing. I love technology. No, I could also spend hours and hours talking about technology.
it's the same, man. Like I think,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's a beautiful marriage as well because I think there's so much more to explore in music. Like I'm
Yeah.
also into like modular and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
that symbiosis of technology and music is also very interesting, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but no, yeah. So on my day to day, I work. I help companies adopt artificial intelligence into their processes in a way that
Mhm.
it generates a lot of value for them.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
something. So, did you study
Yeah.
programming or something like that? Are you really into computers?
Yeah. I studied computer
Yeah.
science.
Oh, what? Really? Oh, we have a computer scientist here to talk.
Well,
Oh,
I wouldn't say that because to be super fair, I'm a bit of a dropout because the startup took off before I could finish. But I still have one course to go, and
yeah.
am taking the exam in exactly 12 days. So wish me luck.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
if you
Yeah.
want to talk to a real computer science, call me back in 12 days, hopefully. Uh,
then
we'll
then
see.
we can make another episode just to talk about computer
Yeah,
science.
absolutely. I'm super down. What do you
Yeah.
do? I,
I'm a teacher. I studied English philology in Germany and social sciences. So I actually teach at university now. Not
well,
music, but English stuff and social sciences. But it was also a hard time, like going to the university and at the same time making music all the time. It was complicated. I spent many years at university. I
yeah.
graduated after 6 years, I guess. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we were really making music. Like for 3 years, I was only making music all the time. So um,
And what kind of music was it?
we had a funk soul kind of band, hip hop. We were making
Nice.
hip hop. I grew up listening to hip hop and funk stuff. So yeah, kind of my
Yeah,
favorite
that's how
music.
I met my co-founder. We played in a funk band together.
Yeah.
So the co-founder that I have the startup with now, it's actually a
Mhm.
funny story as well. We it was after a concert. We came back home, and like we were just listening to music, chilling a little bit. And
Mhm.
I actually just came back from Australia because I was trying to build this app, and I was telling him how
Yeah.
frustrated I was that like I couldn't make it work. And
Yeah.
then right then and there, he was like, "Dude, but why don't we start something?" And we didn't have anything. We just had like he bought a domain name already,
Mhm.
and so that's how we started our first project, our first company. And then we got in touch with these big investors, and all of a sudden, we had our own company. So
Mhm.
yeah, also thanks to a funk band that I have my startup now.
Mhm. Great, awesome. And what are some of the bands or artists that have influenced you the most? Do you have like this first band that really spoke to you when you were a child or something like that? What kind of music influenced you?
Yeah, I think the very first band that I was like, I'm a super fan of these guys. Pretty
Mhm.
funnily though, um, is Coldplay. Uh,
Coldplay,
so
really?
yeah, their very first stuff, like I used to not like them at all, and
Uh
then
huh.
I grew up a little and I started listening to them more and more, and then I really just like A Rush of Blood to the Head, X and
Yeah,
Y, those albums, like I have listened to them so many times.
they're great musicians, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
So Coldplay has been a big influence from the beginning. A little less so now with what they're making now. I
Hmm.
think now like my influences are more like a James Blake, a Bon Iver.
Hmm.
Um, who else would I say? Hanne is also or Han. I don't know how you explain or how you say it. You know them?
Hmm. No, I don't think so.
But they're really really good as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are pretty big influences. J Views also KLO or Klo.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, like I really love the two step drums from Klo always. and I just recently learned how to program them. So I'm gonna make some more two step ish stuff.
Nice.
And then for
Sounds
sure, the
amazing.
1975 man, like they keep reinventing themselves. I really dig how they do that. Like their last album, it's like everything.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So yeah.
mm-hmm. So, career-wise, Cope, where do you see Cope in the future?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question, and one that I haven't really thought about, which is strange for me because
Yeah,
I do like to start projects knowing where I'm taking them. But because
yeah,
Coke was so organic for me, really came from my feels, literally.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but it is one of my life goals to perform for 50,000 people at one point in my life.
Okay,
And
so you have big goals, big expectations there.
yeah, no, for sure. I do have big goals.
Yeah,
Um, and it
that's
would be
amazing.
awesome if I could do that with Cope because I feel Cope is is what I make when I'm completely unrestricted, when I don't have to take into account another musician's preferences or another musician's ideas, which is what I used to have before, where I was just producing, but we were co-creating many of the songs.
Yeah.
So if I could lay my heart out for 50,000 people with a song that came from an emotion I experienced, that would be the ultimate connection.
That's like the dream, no? Yeah, it's. I think it's for everyone, for every musician. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I
So
think it's possible. It's possible
you think so?
in this day and age with the internet and all the stuff. I think it's possible. And if you make like real, authentic, coming out of your heart music, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes all
yeah,
it takes is one song, right? One song to blow up, and then
yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. I think we also have another thing in common. Are you also a dad? Are you a
yep,
father?
for sure. Yeah,
You have a little girl. I'm watching your pictures right now on Instagram. So everybody
yeah,
go and check out Cope on Instagram at Music by Cope, right?
exactly. Yep, that's
Way
it.
people can find you. That's amazing.
Yeah,
It's your first child.
it is my first child.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, she's the best. She's so funny, so kind, so caring.
yeah,
She likes to dance.
and
Uh,
that's amazing. My little one too. My daughter is 2 years old, and so we both know what is it like. No, it really changed my life. Having a child. It's just it's amazing, right?
for sure, but yeah, for me, however, like it's a little hard because we didn't plan at all for Scarlett to be there. So and also she lives on the other side of the world because it was during traveling that it happened. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking to move to the US to be closer to her. But I agree with you,
Mhm.
man. Like it changes just
Yeah,
your priority set. Uh,
yeah. Learn to be a dad, and it's the most crazy part of it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the whole
um,
process.
for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's amazing. So, it was nice talking to you. I don't know if is there anything else you want the world to know about you, about Cope? Did we miss anything?
No, well, just I think in general, what I feel is that I'm so happy I started sharing my music and just doing it and like not overthinking it or like not over engineering
Yeah,
it or
yeah,
I mean if you really feel that you're saying something or that you're doing something that helps yourself in the very first place, then I feel like in a
yeah.
way like just share it, like even if it's your close friends that connect with with what you're making.
Mhm.
I mean, it creates such an opportunity to be understood and to feel understood, and I think that's important. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, if there's anybody out there is listening and they're thinking about releasing their music or whatever, and they don't think it's perfect or like what, just
Yeah,
just make sure that the emotion comes out, and then just launch it, do it.
yeah. just people should just just do it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and so that's also why I started Cope, or like not necessarily over it, but I started it because I felt like, just, if I can open up and just talk about how I feel in the most vulnerable way, or like just sing about
Yeah,
how I feel in the most vulnerable way.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I feel like everybody can do that, and we can all learn to just understand each other more. And I feel like that's something that, as a world right now, as a global
hmm,
community, and
yeah,
especially with what's going on in the US, and stuff like that, we need
yeah.
to we need people to connect in different ways, and music is one of those ways. But it could be, your art, drawing, or it could be anything.
Anything, podcasting,
Exactly, just
music is medicine, podcasting is medicine. I was talking to one, I think it was my first episode this season, and she was really saying, like, music saved her life. Music is medicine. We made this hashtag all the time because it was such a nice phrase, that came out of the conversation. So hashtag music is medicine. Absolutely right.
no, for sure, for sure. And so, yeah, just go out there and share it. Do it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think it's necessary to know. We are living in this crazy time, especially this year was just so. You think? Did you imagine that we would live all these things in January? I definitely not. The
No, man.
pandemic and things happening right now in the U.S. Yeah, what's
2020,
going on? Yeah,
wild. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, it's a time for reflection, and a time for going deeper, and connecting deeper. And, expressing yourself in whatever way works for you is um is important in that, because I feel like also, with the lockdown and all that, like, mental health can take a hit, and
yeah,
so it's important to find ways to express what you really
yeah,
feel.
yeah. How
And
do you keep yourself healthy, or how did you keep yourself healthy during this pandemic, other
uh,
than making music?
yeah, so music was a big part of it, though. But I
Yeah,
listen to podcasts that
yeah,
help me put things in perspective, for sure. I read a
nice.
lot. I love reading. I just finished Richard Branson's book, Losing My
Mhm,
Virginity. So good.
mhm, mhm,
Um, and then just taking the time to reflect, and like journal, and you know do some self development courses online, and stuff like that.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
so I think those are
That's
things that
nice. Did
help me.
you Yeah, did you actually play any live shows on Instagram or something like that? Live streaming?
Yep. I did a live stream. My very first one. It's kind of
Yeah.
scary, but I
Yeah.
did a live stream. Yes, for this music uh, magazine in Belgium here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Cool.
I think people can
That's
still
awesome.
watch it on my Facebook, or on Instagram. I don't think I linked it on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. People can go and check it out. Follow everyone. Cope at Cope.
Music by Cope. So at Music by
Music
Cope.
by Cope. At
Exactly.
Music by Cope. California is out now.
Exactly.
You can stream it or download it pretty much everywhere. I suppose
Yep.
it's on Spotify and
All
stuff. No?
everywhere.
Are you also on Bandcamp, or where can
No,
people buy your music? No.
no, I'm not on Bandcamp, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, but can we buy your music? How can people support you
For sure. Like, I think you can buy it on iTunes, or yeah, maybe
on
I should
iTunes?
make a
Yeah,
Bandcamp.
yeah. Bandcamp
Um,
is amazing. It's really cool. I really like Bandcamp.
yeah, yeah. Actually, I'll make a Bandcamp, and then you'll probably find the link
Yeah,
on social somewhere.
it's awesome. Tom, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being part of the show, and thank you for your music. It really inspire, I think, a lot of people.
Hey,
And
wow. Well,
enjoy
thank you
listening.
very much, Ivan. It's really nice of you to reach out, and yeah,
Yeah,
maybe we can
it's
have a
cool.
conversation about computers one day.
Yeah, let's make that. Absolutely, I'm totally in. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Ivan.
You said don't worry about it, but I'm worried about it. Oh, you deserve the move for what you're trying to do. Yeah. But I'm just not the guy who can give it to you, and I know you know that too. But you still deserve the stars, yeah. But I guess you don't know. I guess you don't know. And I guess you should know that you deserve the sun, yeah. Yeah, you deserve the sun. You said I can get over it. Now you're working through it. There's not much I can do besides be there for you, and I'm here for you. Reaching for the stars. It's something that you're gonna have to do for you, 'cause I can't do that for you. I can't do that for you. Tell me, are you willing and able to put your heart on the table? Tell me, are you ready and truthful when you say you won't hurt me? Tell me, are you willing and able to take the beat out your chest and put your love to the test? Tell me, 'cause I'm ready to lose it. Yeah, I'm ready to lose. Whisper to me how you'd be ready to die for this, how you'd be ready to fight with fists. Whisper to me how you'd be ready to forget that time exists, how you'd be ready to go beyond the fog and mist. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. rip the beat out my chest. My love.